Luke, we are boxing geniuses. We
Exactly.
predicted Jake Paul to win by a decision against Nate Diaz after our great predictions that King Kenny and Gibb would win.
Exactly. We're getting them all right. We're getting them all right.
This is why we need to be on the small council.
Exactly.
We
Get
are
us in small
experts.
council. Come on.
We're incredible. We don't say this often at the start of every podcast or video. Please like and subscribe. We need it. Please. Straight into it. The biggest question that everyone's asking: did Jake Paul get better or not?
I have to say, I don't think so. I thought it was quite a poor performance from him, to be honest, and not what I was really expecting. I did think it would be a tough fight, and I did think it'd maybe go the whole rounds, but they gave it a unanimous decision. But
yeah,
I don't know. I just didn't think the performance itself was actually very convincing. I don't think it was one that excites me for a Fury rematch or a KSI fight, for example. I don't know.
Yeah,
I don't think it was amazing, to be honest.
No,
it definitely it didn't look the same as he did against Tommy.
Yeah.
It looked a lot more professional and stuff against Tommy. Yeah, and I thought it. And that could be to do with the opponent, you know. I mean, it ended up getting a bit scrappy with Nate Diaz, but
yeah,
I didn't really like what I saw.
No, I have to agree. I mean, Jake Paul sort of looked like almost same old, but a little bit worse. Because against Tommy, he was popping out his jab a bit more. Looked a bit snappy. He was bouncing around. He was moving around a lot better. And like you said, it could be to do with Nate, because certain opponents make you look better when they take you into like sort of a technical match, but Nate takes you into a slugfest.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So it could just be something to do with Nate Diaz. But what we said in our predictions is if Jake Paul starts to fight slow, it could go quite badly for him, because the early rounds are going to be where Jake needs to take some points.
Yeah.
And he definitely did that. Started in the first round, he was going for it. But there's no doubt that in the later rounds, Nate Diaz 9-10, better fighter.
Yeah, I think I would have even maybe given him 2-4. I think 2 and 4. I think he could have maybe won those as well.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, I think he definitely won. He won a lot more rounds than I thought, to be honest. And he was more. It's annoying. He wasn't putting it on him as much as I wanted to, and I think everyone can agree with that. When he was sort of boasting at the end, and it's like if you just put it on him, he could have got the win at the end. It was annoying to see that, but
yeah,
he definitely gave me a bit more than I expected. To be honest.
Yeah. Do you think Jake Paul faded in the fight, or was it just Nate Diaz's fight style where he takes the later rounds? That was sort of the game plan.
Jake Paul's heard a lot about how everyone was saying he started slow against Fury, and against everyone really. He started slow against a lot of his opponents, and I think he tried to just show that wasn't the case and went at ham in the first round. Landed a couple shots, started just throwing a lot of combos, and then I think he realised Nate's going to take this round after round. He started to slow down a little bit, and I don't necessarily think that was more him deteriorating. I think it was just he's kind of noticing now he's probably not going to knock Nate Diaz out. He's going to have to kind of work through these 10 rounds. So, and I think that kind of became more of a realisation over the rounds rather than him actually. I don't think he did. I still think he could have gone another. Well, I think they both could have gone another 5, to be honest.
Yeah,
It was a really good fight, to be honest.
I will say, in terms of lessons learned for Jake Paul. One thing that I think bodes well for Jake is that in this fight, from what I saw, he's not just a right overhand. Do you know what I mean? Because he threw out that check left hook a lot.
Yeah.
And against a southpaw, that's obviously really good.
Yeah, and I mean that's what knocked him down as well.
Yeah, exactly. That's the punch that knocked him down. And I think that bodes well for Jake. But like we said, he did fade later on in the fight, and it wasn't as good as a performance as against Tommy Fury.
We were saying with that the check left hook, I think he's worked on that kind of stuff in training, because he was saying I seen him saying he had a guy who's like the exact copycat of Nate Diaz, and he was saying apparently Masvidal used him when he fought Nate Diaz as well. Apparently he's the best training guy for Nate Diaz.
Okay, Jesus, yeah.
So I think he's done a lot of preparation on that side of things. Actually looking. I think with Tommy it was more just who's a better boxer, but I think he's actually kind of looked into the opponent a bit more this time. Yeah, because it is such a different fighter.
One of the big discussions that a lot of people are having is sort of what next for Jake Paul, and sort of to take it in that direction. Do you think let's just hypothetical? I know it's really hard because we saw Jake Paul versus Nate Diaz. We didn't see this fight. If that's KSI, does Nate Diaz get knocked out? Do you think? Because I've seen KSI say you couldn't even knock out Nate Diaz. He's a past it MMA fighter. Is there anything in that KSI would have finished him?
I think maybe because I think maybe he could have gone. KSI would have gone really ham in the first sort of because KSI's only four round fights. I think was it 6 against Logan?
6 against Logan. That's the most he's ever done. Yeah.
I think he would have, and we know what his stamina's like.
Yeah.
So I think if he went crazy in the first 1, 2, 3 rounds, and after his last few fights, I mean I know they've been shit opponents.
Yeah.
But he's been knocking out opponents very quick or finishing them quickly.
Yeah.
So maybe Nate Diaz might not have been able to deal with that overload and like the movement, but I don't think so. Probably not.
Okay, yeah, I think I'd probably have to agree because I think as much as KSI does have, he's a powerful guy, Jake Paul hits hard as well. Like he put down Tyron Woodley, he's put down Anderson Silva. The Tommy Fury one was like a jab where he was sort of caught off guard, whatever. Yeah. But Jake Paul has power, and although he wobbled Nate Diaz, it looked like Nate Diaz was wobbled for the whole bloody fight. Do you know what I mean? Like that.
He must
sort
have
of just
probably
the way he was
just
fighting.
had a cheeky smoke before the fight. He does. He loves a bit of that.
We don't want to make any allegations, but Nate Diaz is that kind of guy.
Yeah.
If anyone's going to do it, it's Nate Diaz. So just more down this road. Again, it's hard to look ahead. What next for Jake Paul? Who next? Do you think Masvidal? Do you think Diaz in MMA? Do you think Fury rematch? KSI?
If he's gonna have a match sort of between like the KSI fight.
Yeah.
Because assuming that's going to happen end of the year, February time. I've heard Tommy Fury speaking about the Jake Paul rematch in February.
Yeah.
Let's just say that KSI is happening that kind of time, December, January, February.
We're hoping.
I think if he wants to have a fight in between, then I think someone like Masvidal would be a brilliant fight. I think he's a more of a boxing focused fighter.
Yeah.
I think that would be a great fight. Masvidal has his own promotion as well, so maybe that would be a
definitely. I think Masvidal will be a tough fight even for boxers. But I did see True Geordie in his fight reaction or whatever. He was talking about some UFC because I'm not huge on the UFC. I've said that loads in these. I feel like I've said it in every single Influencer Boxing one. I've just gone. I'm not into the UFC, but I haven't really watched it much. But he said that I think it was Pereira he mentioned as someone who's a lot more. He's a really good striker. He's a lot more boxing focused type of guy. He said, does Jake Paul fare well against him? Do you think there's anything in that Jake Paul maybe against someone like Masvidal? Do you think that's where he meets his match almost with this MMA journey he seems to be going on?
I think Pereira would. There's a bit of an issue. I think Pereira, Jake Paul could either go up or Pereira could come down. But Pereira is big. He's a big guy.
Yeah, of course.
And also, I didn't think his boxing looked great, to be honest. I've seen a few clips of it and his on his pads and stuff as well. And sparring footage, I didn't think he looked amazing, to be honest.
Do you think, is there any MMA fighter, of course in Jake Paul's range, because someone like Ngannou probably would beat Jake Paul because he's just massive.
Yeah, he's heavyweight.
But it's someone around Jake Paul's weight class. Do you think there's any UFC MMA fighter that could beat Jake Paul and put on a better show than Woodley or Silva or any of the guys he's faced? Just off the top of your head.
Around his weight, so what, about 185 he fights sort of around.
Yeah, well,
there,
185, he's a bit heavier than KSI, so like 190, 185 I think, that sort of... They weighed in at 185 for this fight, right?
Yeah, I don't think Usman fights at 185, but I think if someone like Kamaru Usman maybe could get in there.
Yeah, definitely.
He's not the most striking based guy, but he is more like a wrestler. But I think it's a different one to Woodley. I think to be fair, Woodley is a really tough guy, but I think he is past it, or he was past it then as well.
Yeah.
I think if he could get Usman or someone like that around now, it could boost his status or his stock, more than usual, because not only is it an MMA fighter, if he's still like in his prime or like he's just left the UFC
definitely
to do it, then I think someone like that would be a great fight.
Yeah. If you were just saying someone for Jake next, just your dream world, would you want KSI next now? Do you think now's the time, assuming everything went perfectly?
Yeah, I mean,
is that what you want?
Yeah, I mean, I would like to, I suppose it's a long wait. So I suppose I would like to see him fight Masvidal before. Yeah, something like that. I think him and Masvidal would be perfect.
That's a great match.
It's just I think they're quite close. I think.
Yeah.
But
it would be a really
I think that would
fight.
be a great fight though. Or just someone like that, Masvidal, like we were saying, Usman.
Yeah.
These kind of people, I think. Yeah.
I mean, now that KSI and Fury, which is two of Jake's potential opponents, are fighting in October, Jake's gonna. You'd think well, he can't fight any of them, so you'd think he would fight someone else in that sort of time period. Right, unless he waits until February, waits until December, maybe for someone, Tommy Fury, KSI, or an MMA fighter.
Yeah, I think after that, I do want it to be KSI next.
Yeah.
I think we need to just get it out of the way.
Yeah.
It's coming up on 6-7 years in it. Come on, like let's just.
Regardless of the KSI Fury result, no matter who blows who out of the water, if it's close, whatever. KSI Jake.
Yeah, I think they've still got it, done it. Yeah, I don't think the outcome really matters too much, to be honest.
Yeah, I don't think it does.
Unless it's
a money
flat
maker.
knockout.
Yeah.
And either way, you know what I mean? If KSI gets flattened in a minute.
I think even then the interest in the fight will be lower, but it's still.
Yeah, it's still
there.
a big
Still
spectacle
huge.
as well. It still has to happen for the culture.
Yeah, exactly. So, is there anything, because we focused on Jake Paul a lot, any thoughts on Nate Diaz? Because there's talk about, does he have another boxing fight? Does he rematch Jake? I think he said something like he'd rematch Jake in any art.
Yeah, and Jake really wants to do that MMA fight for some reason. So I wouldn't mind seeing that next either. Yeah. I don't think it goes very well for Jake at all.
No.
Because their whole thing seems to be that they did wrestling in the past, and that's what his threats seem to be, that he's going to take him down and all this bollocks.
But Jake Paul wasn't a very high level wrestler, even just compared to Logan.
No, and also we're talking about a black belt in jiu-jitsu. It's really experienced UFC fighter as well. Yeah, there is serious levels. Nate Diaz is a killer, and he's an octopus on the ground as well. He's so long and fucking, you know, I mean, there's just you can't get hold of him.
Yeah,
but he can wrap himself around you so easily.
Yeah. Would you want to see Nate Diaz in a boxing ring again?
Yeah, I really enjoyed it. Perfect for the perfect in a different way for the build-up.
Yeah.
Just because it's Nate Diaz. We know we don't need to say anymore. He brings what he brings, and I think he's perfect for the entire scene, really.
Yeah.
Because he's one of the more experienced guys, not just in age but also like actual fighting experience.
Yeah. I mean, even through the TV, we could hear on our legal stream, we could hear that Nate Diaz was.
We're not going to get in the fucking. Oh wait, no, this is Jake. Yeah. We streamed it illegally. Okay, get us in the council, misfits. Yeah.
Well, I said legal.
Yeah, but we streamed it illegally.
I wouldn't say illegally.
Fuck Jake Paul. All right, well, come on, get us on the misfits. Do you think that'll get us on?
If that gets us on, I agree.
If not, then.
If not,
I'm sorry, Jake Paul. Get us on MVP. Come on.
Get us on MVP.
Come on, man.
We need it, Jake. Please.
Have you farted?
No, I haven't farted.
That's right. It smells like you fucking guff, mate.
I think on that note, let's end it here. Thank you all for hopefully watching this far. I did not fart. See ya.
See ya. I love them outros. See ya.
Yeah. See ya.
It fucking hummed a bit eggy like.
It's just came over here.